Good evening, everyone. Time to begin our regular board meeting. If you'd all please stand, please rise, if you would. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll call our meeting to order. And first item of business, approval of our agenda, please. Motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Now ask for a motion for approval of our minutes of the December 19th, 2023 regular board meeting.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Thank you. Approval of the minutes of our January 16th, 2024 special meeting. Motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Okay, thank you. First item is communications. Okay, we'll first have a presentation by Mr. Weeby and the STEM Club students on student voices from Lincoln Intermediate.
Each student from our Lincoln STEM Club that are here are going to tell you a little bit about our club.
I've been a part of Lincoln STEM Club for the past 2 years. I already had an interest in technology and science before joining. However, through this club and the projects we have been able to be a part of, I have found a place where I can use my interests to gain new skills.
My favorite part of STEM Club has been finding an interest in areas I've never thought of. From the basics of playing a game that shows the use of renewable energy resources to more difficult areas like programming and coding. I've found that my future has endless possibilities when it comes to career choices.
Through the efforts of these leaders, we are also able to learn coding. We use this knowledge to program circuit boards to light LED bulbs in different sequences. Our lessons and projects using Spheros were not only fun, but they created a sense of teamwork to accomplish our goals. We used our new knowledge to compete in friendly competitions. We worked in 2 groups to see who could program each Sphero to complete obstacles courses with precision. We accomplished this while helping one another learn.
Lastly, through the planning and hard work of these volunteers, we were able to take a trip to the new Mac Tech building at Middle Area College. Having the opportunity to see the different areas dedicated to the different fields of technology and technical jobs had major impact on me. From 3D printing, woodworking, hydraulics, robotics, and so much more. Many of us feel we may have found our new areas to explore when it comes to the future.
Mr. Weeby, would you mind introducing the students, please, their names, please?
You guys want to introduce yourself? Go ahead, Emmett.
My name's Emmett Wampler.
My name's Carson Haywood.
My name's Alex Rice.
My name is Reed Schubert.
Absolutely. These kiddos are the ones that did it, not me.
Thank you, students. Good job. Next will be our recognition by the Heartland Hero and featured teacher from Lincoln Intermediate Center also. Will be a brief presentation by Mr. Ben Tracy and Ms. Tiffany Mosier.
Lincoln Intermediate is pleased to present our Heartland Heroes this evening. Heartland Heroes are inspiring individuals, organizations, or businesses who, through their selflessness, strength, and self-sacrifice, have been agents of change, positively benefiting others and the Farmington R7 School District. Our school district is blessed with many dedicated individuals, but these individuals stand apart, consistently going above and beyond the call of duty to leave a positive impact on the lives of our students, staff, and our entire community. These men and women have helped our students directly with our STEM club each week and have played a pivotal role in our students' education. It is with immense pride and admiration that I present to you Lincoln Intermediate's Heartland Heroes: Madeline Irwin, Casey Amston, Jeremy Key, and Brandon Klinsbeck. Would you all please come to the stage?
Last year, when I was hired at Lincoln, I had the role of the Innovation Lab teacher. Having this position allowed me the privilege to connect with these amazing volunteers through the STEM Club. Their hard work and dedication have allowed the students in the club to have the opportunity to foster the interest within the STEM field, creating a pathway for the future scientists and engineers. Through inventive games and challenges, I am honored to have had the benefit of seeing how just a little time each week can go to creating a long-lasting interest in such an important area. I would like to introduce you to and tell you a little bit about each one of these amazing volunteers. Madeline Irwin. Maddie Irwin is a district executive for the local Boy Scouts of America. She helped coordinate the various moving parts of the club, including communicating with parents, organizing materials for meetings, and helping with the club paperwork. Maddie did a lot of the behind-the-scenes work of making the STEM Club possible by bringing together the We Manage Tech, St. Francis County 4-H, Lincoln Intermediate, and the Boy Scouts of America. Casey Amsden is the Youth Program Associate for St. Francis County 4-H. She helped provide Chromebooks for the students to learn about programming on and shared a collection of robots for the students to learn with. These Sphero robots could be programmed by the students in a variety of ways and made for a thrilling race. Casey brought from the classroom management skills to the club to help the group effectively work through the fun program that was planned each meeting. Jeremy Key is the CIO of the We Manage Tech and IT company that helps businesses and government agencies in mid-Missouri fill their technical needs. They offer desktop support, networks, phones, programming, security, and more. Jeremy is a Marine veteran and is passionate about supporting the community. His son is an Eagle Scout and attributes much of his son's success to his experience with scouting. So when the opportunity came up to help with a Scout-based STEM program, Jeremy decided to help make it possible. He and his business have donated a significant amount of time and money to provide an impactful program for the students in the STEM Club. Brandon Klinsbeck. Brandon joined the STEM Club this fall semester to be an extra helper for the club. He brings his work ethic, mechanical skills, and a fun flair to the group. Having an extra instructor available has been an incredible thing and helpful this past semester to help these students become successful in their projects.
guys. All right. All right, well, it's always a pleasure to brag on Lincoln, and I'm not going to lie, that was super enjoyable to sit there and listen to what awesome things are going on. I appreciate the opportunity to do so. I'm going to continue with bragging. The staff and students at Lincoln make me very proud to be a member of the Farmington Knight family. Today, I'm honored to introduce a Knight that I'm proud to know and blessed to work with. That is Mr. Phil Mongele. That's right. He has... His fan club has also arrived. Mr. Mongele began teaching his 30th year in education this August. 30th year. That's 30 years of an unbelievable amount of lesson plans, countless student relationships, numerous connections for students between content and real life, a never-ending list of encouraging moments with colleagues, and more memories than one person could ever describe. He has made every moment count. For the last several years, he's been a crucial member of our 5th grade science department, a true leader in his content area, and he's always willing to implement best practices and share his experience with others. His colleagues from within his 5th grade team describe him as a member that provides consistency and focus. Also the timekeeper. That focus has created an environment driven by the need to grow and improve, always reflecting and considering what the next steps could be to better serve his students. They did not share this with me, but I feel like it needs to be noted somewhere that he is on a 5-man team, being the only man on that team. The women that are on that team are very headstrong, strong-willed, extra energetic at times, and he continues to come to work almost every day with a smile on his face. So if that doesn't deserve a trophy, not sure what does. Right? Yep. Mr. Mongele shares a smile with his students daily. He provides clear and consistent expectations. He's determined to support each student until they reach their full potential. And while we know it may take more than one school year to do that, he continues to work within their ability to see that growth within the year. Most importantly, Mr. Mongele is always ready to share a laugh with his students. One of my favorite things about Lincoln, and this year it may have been a little rough, but Lincoln, the elf, visits classrooms and pretty much destroys everything. And he visited Mr. Mongele's classroom. I went to visit just to see if Mr. Mongele was okay. But when I walked in Mr. Mongele's classroom, he had little Lincoln the elf at the small group table, and they were working on science vocabulary. He was not going to let the elf get the last word. During our time together at Lincoln, he has been a mentor for me. If I know anything about who I want to be as an educator, it is the best leader that I can be for Mr. Mongele. He is one that makes me proud to go to work for people that have that passion for education like Mr. Mongele does. I say this because he's offered me some of the best impactful feedback of my career, and I will always be thankful for that. And I hope that he continues to give me that feedback for many, many years. Right? Mr. Mongele has so many qualities that makes him worthy of the title feature teacher for Lincoln and so much more. I will end with this, that he's never failed to identify the need to adapt to the ever-changing needs of the students we serve. So that is something that I think we can all try to keep in mind as we move forward. And once again, he's someone that's made me proud to be a Knight. So I appreciate him.
You know, it's horrible to be a teacher and to realize that you're speechless. Yeah, I never thought there would be a day where I wouldn't have very little to say. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next on our agenda are information items we have listed here. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're going to pass that one. The next is a presentation by Dr. Kraus on our CSIP review.
Good evening. So each quarter, we give a little bit of a review and update on CSIP progress and update overview. So tonight, as you're aware, we have outlined 11 CSIP SMART goals, each encompassing actionable items within their respective domains. 1.1 prompts us to enhance and refine our communication methods with staff, student, and families. 1.2 assesses the efficiency of operations and resources to promote student academic success and well-being. 1.3 evaluates the effectiveness of our safety and security measures, both physically and emotionally, across all campus settings. 2.1 gauges data growth concerning local and state assessments. 2.2 challenges us to establish a positive feedback loop for problem solving through MTSS. 2.3 sets parameters to enhance the capacity of school counseling services supporting academic, career, and social emotional development. 3.1 measures our endeavors and outcomes in creating safe and orderly caring environments for everyone. 3.2 assesses the cultivation of a culture within high academic behavioral expectations. 4.1 pushes us to foster continuous and innovative improvement relevant to learning experiences. 5.1 evaluates the availability of viable curriculum and assessment. And 5.2 is pertinent to assessing alignment with the Missouri Learning Standards. I say all of those because as we go through, I'm going to point out some areas that, as you get board reports each month, vertically align with that and also provide the evidence as to our work with the CSIP. So presented to you tonight and in front of you, you're going to find individual goals along with the accompanying data sheets. These data sheets are new. We will use these to utilize and gather evidence and collaboratively work on enhancing district initiatives and focus as we consistently refine this plan on into the year of 2027. Previous comprehensive board reports have delved directly into the CSIP goals, and they correspond to specific action steps. The breakdown of the alignment and the evidence, as people in this audience and in past audiences have come up here to report to you, align to the following. The ASBR and finance reports that are often given by Valley and Dr. Gibbs each month, those intricately connect with goal 1.2, vertically aligns with that. The communication plan that Ms. Mindy came up and presented to you earlier at the very beginning of the year aligns with goal 1.1. Long-range planning of safety and emergency response correlates with goal 1.3, which the nurses and Mr. Kraus presented to you. Ongoing long-range planning of technology, which you will hear a lot more from Corey Smith, correlates with goal 1.2. Assessment planning, goal setting, student academic reporting. You heard from every campus last month, and you also have heard from Ms. Amanda Sheets, the assessment director. Those align with 5.1 and 5.2. Health and wellness reporting is associated with 1.3. Early childhood and special education review and planning are tied to 2.1 and 2.2. And culture and climate surveys from the past 2 years with students, staff, and parents were aligned with 3.1, but that culture and climate survey must be noted that it has to be interwoven between all of the actionable items that you find in front of you. So again, I say all of that because the data sheets in front of you are going to be progress that we're consistently dumping in there and putting links into. You have access to that at all times. You will be able to see on those sheets, obviously if you go in electronically, you'll have the live sheets, but they are agendas. It's actual evidence. It's actionable items that your staff, parents, students, and others have actually initiated tasks within. So it's a huge undertaking, and it takes all 500 employees to be able to pull this off. Those are just the things that you can look at that show some of the actionable items that we have done. So each month when people stand in front of you, all of those things are aligned with what you have charged us to do with the strategic plan. There's purpose and there's forethought with each one of those reports that are given to you and will continue to be so. While reviewing that data sheet, please note that several artifacts of evidence have been gathered. Collection process will continue each quarter, and then we can report out on any of the ones that you would specifically like to hear about, or you can ask questions at that time. So additionally, some instances of actionable items with the district that we have been working on include and are not limited to continued advancement in the three-pronged approach to address substance misuse involving therapy and policy recommendation for drug testing procedures. One of the policies that's coming through to you tonight will be a recommendation to take a look at that for athletic and extracurricular events. That is a continuation of that comprehensive plan that we've had on there for quite a while. Inclusion of additional items for trauma therapeutic counselor from Great Minds. We got our additional counselor. So Great Minds has been able to hire someone, and they will begin February 1st, starting to work in the district. They are working at Central School District right now underneath someone and getting great leadership on what it's like to be in that school setting. So that's another addition that we've been working on for a while, but an actionable item that will show evidence soon. Favorable academic results have been reported through benchmarking related to the Missouri Reading Initiative, along with the expansion of Title I services to the middle school campus. Campus student support teams have been established, and collaborative practices are continuously adjusted for optimal effectiveness within the framework of MTSS. Your building principals work on this each and every day that they operate their buildings. That hard work of those principals, those leaders, and the staff members are continuous within that goal. Positive attendance stakeholder campus team results with action plans and programs to support have increased student attendance through ADA as well as 90 of 90. Took a dip in December due to flu and some other things. We're hoping to grab that back up and have a positive trajectory. And the One Community project with several leaders within the district and others that have stepped up through Mindy Southern have aligned with the development of a comprehensive approach to address bullying, cyberbullying, and harassment that we currently have identified within the district. So, and the last, the strategizing for the extension of conscious discipline into the secondary setting via trauma-informed practices. I would be remiss if I did not tell you that it takes a team to be able to tackle this, and everyone that comes and speaks in front of you is a part of that team. I would also like to give a little shout out to Shanna Turner, who a lot of times that detail piece doesn't come to me easily, and I know what needs to be presented, but she came up with that data collection sheet after she was trying to gather evidence for me, and actually went into the CSIP plan and promoted that for everyone and loaded it all in there so that that detail portion was done. She did a nice job with that. So thank you for your time. I know it's a lot to listen to, but I do appreciate you listening and understand that the managing and the progress of the goals can be overwhelming, but the significance of this cannot be emphasized enough. We value your leadership in endorsing the CSIP progress. Any questions?
Appreciate the format. That was very
Yeah,
easy to follow.
that's Miss Turner right there.
Follow.
Detail gal.
Makes it easy to identify.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now we're going to hear from Ms. Turner and our librarians on our library and media program review.
Mr. Modulay's fan section is left.
We're going to try not to take offense to the crowd leaving right there. I told them next time they want to check out a book. Good luck. So I have the honor and privilege tonight. Every other year, we do a library program review, and halfway through my time at central office, I've had the opportunity to spend with librarians. We've had a journey together, and so when we really started thinking about this, how do we want to tell our story when it comes to FSD libraries? And so we talked about thinking, many of you can probably think back to your school careers, your librarian that you may have ran across. You know, back in the day, libraries were a quiet place. Dolores is laughing, thinking, yeah, quiet place, don't talk, all those different things. And my, oh my, has it changed over the years? And so we're going to take you through a student's journey through Farmington School District from a library perspective. So just to kind of wrap your mind around, we always talk in our district that a student has a 13-year journey. It really matters what you do for that 9 months, but even more, it matters what we do in that 13 years. So just to kind of give you a frame of reference, we have around 3,900 students. Students take a 13-year journey. They come to us for pre-K, it's 14 years. In a student's career at FSD, they'll attend 2,100 days of their life, over 800,000 minutes. And then in our district, we have 7 librarians that are up here with me, including Rachel Armstrong, that have over 100 years of service and experience. So our kids are very lucky to have them. And the quote at the bottom, the library is the heart of the school, it's the hub. Each of these ladies are going to introduce themselves and tell you about the library at their building and what makes it stand out. And it truly is a hub because these librarians get to know kids for multiple years. So this is on our website. This is what they've worked collaboratively on, their library mission statement. And I took that statement and 6 things really popped up to me that I think that these ladies do a fantastic job to promote. Progressive learning environment that they'll talk about tonight, how they do that. To foster the quality and excellence for all students. They work to instill the love of reading. In the classroom, our job is to make sure they learn to read, right? If they love it along the way, that's great. And these ladies help us support the love of that piece. They work to support the whole child. They promote lifelong learners and productive citizens. So as they talk tonight, we have 2 goals for you. Mrs. Armstrong's going to start because she's taken on a new role this year as our Ed Tech facilitator, and she started working really closely with our librarians on some goals that we have. And then we want to take you through a student's perspective, all the way from kindergarten through high school, what their journey looks like through library.
So Ms. Turner told you that we would take you through what it is like to be a student at Farmington. So we're going to start with preschool. That's me at 4. This year, however, I have a new role as the educational technology facilitator. My job is to manage our online platforms and any district subscriptions that we have. I also train the teachers and provide professional development with them. This year, it's been my privilege to work with our school librarians very closely as we integrate technology into our library programs, especially those that relate to digital citizenship and digital literacy. So this is me, as I said, at 4. I started out at Libertyville before we consolidated, and I'm proud to be a Farmington alumni. Oh, I have a clicker, sorry. So this might be the image that comes to your head whenever you think of a library. As Ms. Turner said, far from being a quiet place, our school libraries now are really a bustling hub of exploration, learning, creation. If our home was a school, I think that our library would be the kitchen. It's really the heart of the school. It's a place of connectedness, nourishment, gathering, comfort. All of those things are combined in our library. Our libraries have students involved in STEM projects. They do critical thinking. Our librarians connect our students to the global community with Zoom meetings with experts around the world. They host clubs like the Library Learners Club, Spanish clubs. As you know, these ladies wear many different hats. There are resource curators, literacy advocates, research specialists, equity champions, event planners, innovation leaders, and they're instructional partners to all of our teachers. All of these great educators are also their school representative for the communication team. So they are the ones that share out all the wonderful things that are happening school-wide to the social media and on the SMORE newsletters and things like that. In addition, they incorporate all kinds of fun days and special weeks into their curriculum, like Hour of Code, the Digital Citizenship Week, National Poetry Month, Black History Month, Read Across America, even Dr. Seuss's birthday. They work it all in, and they make our schools places that are fun to be at. I've had the privilege to work closely with them to make CSIP connections this year and to help align vertically and provide collaboration time and work on integrating technology skills into their classrooms. This year, we've been working with a platform called learning.com, which provides resources for digital citizenship and digital literacy. And it really helps for our students to grow as learners who are ready to be successful in a modern digital society. So Digital citizenship is the ability to navigate our digital environments in a way that's safe and responsible and to actively and respectfully engage in these spaces. So when you think of digital citizenship, that's going to be your online safety, not giving out your personal information. For students, it's teaching them, you never meet somebody that you talk to online if you don't know them. Think before you post. Protect your privacy. Also, you need to check where your information comes from. You need to think critically. And also take breaks from social media, take breaks from your screen. So integrating all of that and having that be something that we make sure that our students K through 12 have in their curriculum is very important. And digital literacy is basically the skills that you need to live in a world where people are using computers every day. So with our youngest students, that's going to look like, how do I open and close a tab, or how do I find that application? But as we get older, it also goes for other things, like how do I evaluate how credible this source is? How can I create documents in a word processor, formatting? As we get into secondary, it's going to be website creation, video creation, coding, all that computer science. So these ladies really do it all, and they do it well. So we are going to go ahead and go to our kindergarten with Mrs. Sarah Elders.
Hi, I'm Sarah Elders. Oh, yep, thank you. Got it. I have the pleasure of working as a librarian in our Truman Learning Center. I serve 14 different kindergarten classes where we get to work on different lessons in the library. The quote that I chose up there talks about dreaming, because that's what our students do. They dream big, and as librarians, we get to show them how those dreams can become reality through books and through the amazing activities that we have in our library. And yes, that is me at 5. I'm at a Christmas concert, so that's why I've got a little hat on my head. In the kindergarten library, we work first on taking care of our books, learning how to make sure that, we don't spill our water bottles in our backpacks with our books, and how to make sure we don't leave them on the floor for our dogs to eat, which happens often. We learn how to locate books, the difference between fiction and nonfiction, our different story elements, criteria for the award-winning books. Right now, we've been working on the Caldecott Medal, which was announced yesterday, so they have been voting on which one they think will win. As well as, of course, a love for reading, which is the biggest job I think I have. And the library so far, everybody seems to enjoy it very much and love reading. In kindergarten, we host a few different events. I say kindergarten, but our library events also include our pre-K and now our 3-year-olds as well. We have a pumpkin character contest, which is shown there with Jameson and his wonky donkey. The children got to pick a book, and then they worked with their families to create a pumpkin for that character. Then we had a school-wide voting, and 3 different books, or 3 different character pumpkins won, and then they got a gift certificate to our book fair. We also hold, of course, book fairs, one in the fall and one in the spring. I host a spring reading bingo to get a little more reading going. And then newest is our library birds, which are just cute little Target fabric birds that then deliver books to the classrooms each month, and they get to keep the bird in their classroom and then have some new books in the classroom as well. And then, of course, we have a lot of hands-on learning. I do stations in the library. We've got 7 different stations. Students get to learn about books in many different ways. That way we can reach all of their different abilities and their different interests. From me, they then go to one of our 3 amazing elementary schools, and you guys are going to get to hear from Ms. Caitlin Gillum from Washington Franklin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Gillum. I'm a Washington Franklin librarian. For the elementaries, there's not just one of me, there's 3 of us. So I'm going to present on one part of my library, something new that we're trying this year, and then Missy and Debbie are going to present 2 other things that are very crucial in all of our libraries. So, oh, that's me at 9. I look very similar to know. So I am going to be talking to you about Beanstack. I don't know if you guys know, but we used to use the program called Reading Counts. It's what I used when I attended Farmington when I was a kid. It's something that a couple of our libraries are still using right now, and we are in the process of switching over to something new called Beanstack. So Washington Franklin, we're really excited to be the ones piloting this program. My students are even more excited that they're the ones piloting this program. They think it's amazing that they get to try it out for everybody. So I'm going to kind of talk about why we're making that switch and the amazing things we're seeing already just since starting it in January. So Beanstack is a customizable program, and if you look right there, that's kind of what it looks like on the computer for students, or they can also get it on their tablets or phones at home so they can track their at-home reading. Classroom teachers, librarians, or even school administrators can choose a reading goal and give challenges to students. So currently, we have monthly challenges coming from me, the librarian, for all students, and then each grade level has their own challenge coming from teachers in that level that students are participating in. Right now, my challenges are minute-based, so students get on Beanstack and they log the minutes that they're reading. They don't have to be reading a particular book. They don't have to finish it in that setting. They're just showing us how much they're reading at school and at home. So progress is measured through minutes and books read. So they track their minutes, and when they finish a book, there's a little thing that says, "Oop, I finished it," and it gets to track all the books that they've read all year too. Students are able to practice setting and reaching goals, and they're celebrated for those efforts by the whole school community. We do shout outs on announcements now. Their teachers are shouting it out. We have a Beanstack bulletin board that gets checked daily by students. They love listening to their names come up on the announcements, like throughout the snow days. I got to do snow day announcements. All the kids who logged minutes reading during their snow days got announced on the announcements today, and teachers thought that was really cool. With school-wide and teacher-led reading challenges, we can get kids reading with less stress. Younger children really learn to love reading, and then the older children find intrinsic motivation to keep reading and read the books that they actually enjoy, not just the ones that are on reading counts with the reading counts quiz. You can log any book on Beanstack. I haven't ran into a book it doesn't know yet. And then the last part, I think the why really shines through when you look at what it's doing for Washington Franklin. So I have some student quotes on there. I have some teacher quotes on there. I have a parent quote on there. I guess I'll go ahead and read them. So the parent says, he's all about this Beanstack. Didn't get him long to get going at home. That was day one when we sent home the Beanstack note. I got a message on Remind from a parent saying that. So that was pretty cool. A fourth grade student ran up to me one day and she's like, "I love watching my reading streak grow every day. I'm up to 10 days. So they get to log and see how many days in a row they've logged their reading. That keeps them, a lot of them, reading every day because they don't want to see their streak end. Students who I've never seen with a book before are excitedly asking to read and talking about others, talking about reading now. That was a first grade teacher said that. And it's really hard to get our first grade students to believe that they can read for some reason. And they can, they just don't try it yet. So having them all trying it and getting read aloud to home, first graders can have their books read aloud to them at home, and that counts for Beanstack too. So that's getting parents involved in growing our students. And then the last quote says, "My students are all so excited about it. When we reached our community goal, all I heard was, we did it, we did it." And the community goal was set to end in May. And we reached that within 3 weeks of doing Beanstack. So that was, I think our community goal was 10,000 minutes, and we had bumped that up from what Beanstack had suggested, because we were like, oh, they can do better than that. And they blew it out of the water. So they're really reading. The last thing I want to talk about is some Beanstack statistics. So I took this after school today. Minutes read so far, just since starting on January 1st, are 47,239 minutes have been read. The books they've completed so far are 649 books. That's picture books, chapter books, I even tell them to log like articles. I have some students that like to read nonfiction articles. You could have never done that in reading counts because you can't take a quiz over an article. So they're getting to read whatever they want. I really love that. And then the last thing, which I think is astounding, is our active readers. We have 319 active readers at Washington Franklin. That's 91% of our school population, versus last year when I was just doing reading counts, I had about 20 to 30% actively involved in reading counts and earning prizes. So that's a really big jump, and I can just tell the buzz in our building about reading is really growing. So I'm super excited that I got to present on this today. I'm so thankful for Rachel and helping me set it up and get it going for Washington Franklin. Our students are really, really loving it. So if you have any questions, I can answer them. But Next up, Missy Tisher. She's going to talk about our awesome Makerspace program.
Can I have?
Yes.
No. Hi, I'm Missy. I can't wait to try Beanstack now. I'm one of the librarians that is still doing read and count. So, STEM, I'm talking about Makerspace. STEM is a critical part of our Makerspace program, and in the Makerspace, students are problem solvers, innovators, and critical thinkers. I do Makerspace every other week. I alternate it with the learning.com that Rachel was talking about. We just finished our Snowflake Bentley story and the 3D snowflakes, and in November, we did Macy's Day Parade and put on a school-wide parade for that. Right now, we are currently doing Not a Box, Not a Stick. Dr. Conley walked in on me today, and it's a mess. Like, lots of tape, googly eyes, lots of noise. Nobody's saying shh, because they are all building things out of boxes and sticks. It's very creative. In December, we all took part in Hour of Code, and that's something that I've always been passionate about. Just letting the students do all the challenges and everything. And we even had Ethan Burke, one of our former Farmington students, do a Google Hangout with us, and then we shared it throughout the district with the other librarians. So that is a big part of our Makerspace, and that's me at age 6. This is just some of the coding and challenges that we have done and pictures. And that's our box project, some of the kids that have started on their box. And it's a mess, so come by and see me this week in the library. Oh, and next up is Deb Beavers.
Did you want to talk about that? Are you good? Okay. All right. Okay. All right, I'm Debbie Beavers. This is me at age 7, second grade, South Central Missouri, Willow Springs, Missouri. My quote is, "A children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a good children's story in the slightest." And that's what we do. We read stories, and I mean, if we can't enjoy them, then why, we can't expect the children to enjoy them. So we have to become a part of the story too, and probably entertainers at the same, at the same time. What do we do in the library 1st through 4th grade? Well, we do a lot of the things that Sarah is doing in kindergarten, only we continue and just kind of take it to a different level. Library classes for each of our buildings, see everybody once a week for 50 minutes. We continue to stress the importance of book care, location skills, as well as responsibility of taking care of those books. And we talk about how important that it is to take care of those books because they're very, very expensive, and taxpayers spend a lot of money for these books, and your mom and dad are taxpayers, and we need to help everybody out. So we talk a lot about that responsibility. Students learn literacy appreciation, such as fiction and nonfiction, genres, author's purpose, research and reference skills, just to name a few. Digital citizenship is also a very, very important part of our curriculum that has been added back to the library this year, and students learn about appropriate internet etiquette and safety while using the internet. Also, in our classes, we talk about the nominees. We focus on the Show Me nominees and the Mark Twain nominees. Every year, students gain voting privileges to vote for their favorite Show Me nominee and Mark Twain nominee. For the 3rd and 4th graders, they need to read at least 4 of those books and either take a quiz or have a book talk and talk about the things that happened in the book and some of the important details. When they read the 4th book, they can become part of the Mark Twain Club, and then at the end of the year, we take them either to Lick's Frozen Custard or, let's see, do you take them to the hunts? Okay, yeah. So that's a big thing. They get to leave class for like an hour, and they're like, "Are we walking?" And I'm like, "Yes, we're walking." Isn't that a long way? Not really. So they think that's pretty cool that we get to just walk down the hill and go eat ice cream. And then we give them some extra recognition at the end of the school year at our awards ceremony. But this, the Mark Twain and Show Me nominee thing is sponsored by the Missouri Association of School Librarians. And so when we read all of these books, we get to vote on our favorite picture book or chapter book. And so we help an author win that prestigious award that is always honored at the Missouri Librarian Conference, usually in, I think it's at Lake of the Ozarks, I guess, usually. And so these two young ladies at the top, they have read all 12 of the Mark Twain nominees this year, so I wanted to highlight them. But some of our activities, we do have book fairs, prizes and incentives for reaching reading goals. We have makerspace kits available for kids to, pull off the shelves and use whenever. Book clubs, and then our weekly scheduled book talks. And then these are just some of the kids. The two at the top, they got their 100 points, so they got a free T-shirt, and then the other two are just children from the past that have been in the Mark Twain Club, and I think Addison might be in this one over here at the very, very end. That was back when we had the old library. So another thing we're very excited about, and I guess it was about 7 years ago, I was at home, it was a snow day, and I was watching one of the St. Louis stations, and there was an author who was being highlighted, and she had a dog who had lost a leg, and she had rescued him, and she had written a book about it, and it talked about bullying and empathy. And I emailed her immediately. I'm like, can you come to our school? Well, that was 7 years ago, and I haven't been able to find another author that we could afford until I was following the school that I used to teach at in Southwest Missouri, and his name is Izzy B. He's from Joplin, Missouri, and he's an author and illustrator. So by following that school, I got in contact with him, and he has agreed to come to our school in April and visit kindergarten and then each of our elementary schools for a very reasonable price, and we are very excited about that. So, so he'll be coming in April. So that's what we do in First and Fourth, and so I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany, and she's going to talk to you about what happens at Lincoln.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Moore. I have the privilege of serving as a librarian at Lincoln Intermediate. This is my 5th grade school picture. Maybe not my best one, but all right. So students at Lincoln visit each week. In addition to traditional library things, we also have makerspace activities. Some of them are free choice, and some of them are tied to a read aloud we've done, or maybe something that's going on in their classes. Some of the services that we have for staff, I hosted a book exchange right before winter break because we want our staff members to also be lifelong readers. And every morning at Lincoln, I brew coffee, and it's available in the library. So if you ever come by, you're welcome to stop by for a cup of coffee. Missy visited me the other morning. So some of the things that we learn at Lincoln. So one of the first things we do at the beginning of the year is review email etiquette and how to email our teachers specifically, because as they go through school, 5th, 6th, and on into middle school and high school, it becomes a really important skill. So we spend some time doing that. Learning.com has been new for me in the library this year with digital citizenship and online safety. And I'm really excited to start a project later this year creating stop motion videos using Canva. So that's one of the technology pieces that we'll be working on later this year. Like many of the other librarians, the first week of December, we participated in the Hour of Code. That was also the first time for me to also participate in that, and the kids had a really great time. It was really interesting to see them work together and help each other, and a lot of kids obviously have a lot more experience with coding than some others, but everyone was able to have some success in that because we had a variety of activities they could do. So library at Lincoln looks a little bit different than some of the other buildings, but as they said before, it is not a quiet place. It's a little bit of controlled chaos sometimes, but you know, we use that to provide a good opportunity for our students. So thank you. And when they leave me at Lincoln, they join Mrs. Dillon at middle school.
Okay, here's me at age 12. And then, okay, I'm going to click along here. Sorry. Moving right along. Everyone's welcome at the middle school library, and so they move a little bit from structured class to moving in and out of the library a little bit more independently, advisory lunch, and then as their teachers choose or allow with passes and things, in addition to ELA and reading classes come in. So I just listed some of the things that we do in the library to catch kids' attention with some lunch and learn video calls that we've done some really neat ones this year. We did a 9/11 one with Jenna Bush. We've done lots of astronauts, who are kind of my favorite thing because they're really cool, with NASA, and some other ones with lots of explorers through National Geographic, through a fellow that does a lot of science video calls as well. So a lot of exposure outside the world that they live in the library at the middle school. I list a lot of other things that we do. I'm going to talk specifically about Makerspace in a minute, but some of our other after-school events, including Extravaganza, and we're going to have some local authors come this year, so I'm really excited about that. We also have a hygiene station in the library now that Character Council had worked very hard this year to put together, so kids can breeze in and out and get some deodorant, maybe, if they need some at the middle school level, you know, after gym class and they forgot, or so, anything. A lot of stuff is available. So moving right along, though, Makerspace stuff here. I'm just excited to announce that we got a $10,000 grant. Well, we earned it really because we did have to do some work to get it, that we applied for, that is going to partner with both local businesses, some elementaries during family nights, as well as partnering with Mrs. Moore at Lincoln to do some instruction where the projects, it's really taking a lot of things that we already do with the Makerspace class that we have at middle school, with the STEM classes, and with the project Lead the Way, and just provide another layer of structure and guidance to that, with a lot of materials that we're going to be able to purchase, and use those to provide a purpose for our kids' learning and activities that they create in Makerspace and STEM and so forth. They do a lot of cool projects, but now they have an intention to not only build those, but to teach others what they've learned by going to elementary family nights and going down to Lincoln and partnering with those, and then teaching other kids at those events, as well as making some kits and things that we're going to work on for local businesses to have as well. So I'm super excited about that. So that was the last kind of thing I wanted to highlight here at the middle school. I'm going to move it on to Christy Scott at the high school.
Our faces look so distorted. We look like aliens. Like, I don't know what is going. Okay, good. Okay, here we look like aliens. Okay, that was fun pulling pictures from my scrapbook. My daughter may have made a couple of comments about where are the filters, and some of those poses look like JCPenney poses. If you don't know what a JCPenney pose is, Google it. Okay. So I have the culminating end of our K through 12 journey with our kiddos. So I chose a little bit of a sappy quote of a book that I have in the library. I'm not going to take time to read that to you, though. Okay, so the best part of my day is just the daily connections that I get to make with students, staff, and community members. In my role as the Farmington High School librarian and community service coordinator, I engage daily with students, staff, and community members. For students, I go beyond assisting with research and assignment, and I actually get to help them discover literature for just pure enjoyment. Whether guiding upperclassmen through the intricacies of college applications and resumes, or providing support in the final stages of a significant Dr. Reeves research paper, I actively get to contribute to their academic journey. Collaborating with the ELA and social studies classrooms allows me to share insights into optimal research techniques and practices. Working alongside of Ms. Clevey and her eager students in the beginning teachers classes is a rewarding opportunity. Most recently, members of our ACT team and I have been analyzing data with students following their national ACT test. So we had never done that before, so we started to do that. This has proven beneficial so they can guide their studies and ultimately increase their scores. I take pride in assisting every student striving for Latin honors, guiding them through the requirements and processes. Additionally, I get to digitally record and promote community service opportunities for all students at Farmington High School. For the staff, I serve as a valuable resource, conducting relevant professional development sessions throughout the entire year, collaborating with counselors on various projects, and partnering with Ms. Ziprick for events such as 8th grade tours, the FMS discussion days, and Freshman Academy enhances our school overall cohesion and transition. The staff book club hosted in the library fosters a sense of community among our educators. Efficient calendar coordination ensures that guest speakers and college representatives has a designated place to hold their meetings. As the liaison for the Farmington Educational Foundation, I witness and support their remarkable contributions to our school district, such as the upcoming trivia event this Saturday, January 27th, so make sure to sign up if you have not. Playing a role in the high school communication team, I actively tell our school story through social media and our monthly newsletter while showcasing our students in action.
I love having the opportunity to engage with community members and advocate for student participation in community service. While our students are involved in various activities around the entire Parkland area, the Night to Shine Community Service Project stands out as one of the most significant initiatives that I get to co-spearhead with Mr. Rocky Good. Thank you for your time, and does anyone have any follow-up questions for the library staff?
Great presentation.
Okay.
Appreciate that. That's
Okay.
remarkable. And I think, sounds like you're using a lot of innovation in what you're doing.
It looks a little different than the elementaries, for sure, but we need everyone to get them where they need to be, so it's a great team to work with.
Great job.
Thank you.
so much. You got two wonderful children. I really enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, thank you.
That's so impressive. Thank you so much. Great job.
Rachel, for all you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks. I learned so much. Yes.
That is a lot. Great. Okay, next on our agenda is our consensual agenda. You see the items listed there. I don't think we have any of them to be pulled out and voted separately, so I just call for a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. And, Dr. Gibbs, you have your report for our district, please.
Yes, all right. Well, that was great. I appreciated that presentation from the library. We're all discussing up here. If you didn't hear it, we want to go back to library, and it sounds like a really fun place to be. And as Tawn was saying, how she relates to that first picture, and I can picture Mrs. Porter, be quiet, so definitely it's changed over the years. So I'm excited about the things going on in library. Excited to hear all the great things going on at Lincoln and with STEM Club and these community members pouring into the students, so really appreciate all of that. Mr. Module's fan club vacated the place, but that was great as well. So many great things going on across the district. But jumping into my report, I did make stops at most of the campuses, but all of the staff traveled to, at least the certified staff, on January 3rd, trying to catch the support staff as I can to just kind of talk about the transition over the past 6 months. And it's actually been a year since I first had made a stop last January at all campuses, but really talked through positive culture and staff retention, such a key piece, the challenging behaviors and the things we have in place. And then I landed a lot on finance and communication and talked through some issues with the staff. So really good, a lot of great positive feedback that came from those visits that's guiding the work. So that community connectedness piece moves on into the demographic study that came back. We are still chunking that information out, and we'll continue to share, but just some highlights from that there on the bottom. That we are at a bit of a plateau in our enrollment to a slight decline depending on the different models, but there's 5 comprehensive models that play into that demographic study that really do show we're kind of at the highest point in enrollment at this point, and we're just going to kind of stay there. So we're using that information to guide some thoughts as far as our next phase of work across the district and improvements we'll make. We do know there, and it did show in the study, there are some crowding issues, particularly at Truman Lincoln Middle School and approaching that at the high school. So we will be looking at ways to address that with additions, grade configurations, and so forth. Also interesting to note, and it's been trending this way for several years, that we're becoming a progressively older community in our in the age of population, so something to be conscientious as we move forward. Then the board and I engaged in a comprehensive financial work session recently where a lot of the information that I covered with the staff on a real surface level we went deep into, and the board was real engaged with discussions there with the funding challenges, the current status, our goals moving forward, looking at the bond issue, tax levy, and then you'll move on to the next part with that attendance piece. Dr. Kraus mentioned we took a little bit of a hit in December. We've been dealing with the same cold and flu viruses that have been going around so rapidly. So we are ahead of last year, but we're only a point ahead, and we're well off if you look at that 93.37 of where we were pre-COVID. So we just, I know I say that, it's like a broken record. We can't seem to rebound to those pre-COVID numbers. So we keep working on it, and we'll keep chipping away at getting attendance back up where it needs to be. Moving on down to a lot of these things were talked about tonight, but in the safe and healthy schools realm, Dr. Kraus and the Wellness Committee, she's got a strategic plan that feeds into our comprehensive school improvement plan. And then she already mentioned the therapist we're excited to add. Down at the high school, exciting community connectedness event, getting school pride. We're going to host the first ever sporting event during the day that the students will be able to attend, and that's a wrestling duel with St. Genevieve coming up next week. So that's kind of a interesting thinking outside of the box for the high school and getting them engaged with cross-curricular there. And then moving on to technology. No, I'm on the back. No, yep. Mrs. Turner's work with Parents as Teachers, and Mrs. Johnson doing a presentation with Parkland Hospital. Once again, goes back to community connectedness and making sure the medical staff there inform the parents coming through there of the opportunities we have here at school, getting our students involved in learning at those very earliest ages. And then the reading bill that went into effect has a lot of things that we have to monitor now, and I appreciate the work with Mrs. Turner does, Mrs. Sheets do as well, to really monitor what's going on across particularly our elementaries with reading success plans and the data that she's put together for that. So there's a lot of work going into that. And then we had iReady Window 2 we looked at, and you can see we've had substantial growth there. So that's a tribute to all the hard work that the teachers are doing across every building. And then a few updates. Mrs. Gillum already mentioned the Beanstack program. I was going to talk about that, but that was an exciting celebration from Washington Franklin, and then Lincoln trying to get that attendance up with their Attend to Win challenge and getting kids excited about being at school. Moving down to finance, we have a comprehensive budget tool in place, which I highlighted at the financial work session, and that's really helping us to look at next year and how we'll be able to forecast better moving forward. So a future focused piece, and then also future focused piece was meeting with LJ Hart and getting more current calculation up to a 47 million bonding capacity. We may not need to use that full capacity, but we will see as we plan things for the future. Moving down to athletics and Mr. Mills' department. Lots of great things going on with winter sports to celebrate. Got to travel. I didn't have this in there at the time. I had put this together before I left, but traveled to Kingston to watch the 7th grade. Both the boys and girls take home the championship, and 8th grade starts up this week with their championship to end their season. Hopefully, with the season they've had, they'll have the same finish as the 7th grade did. So boys basketball and girls for the high school having great seasons, and made a lot of gains even from the Christmas tournament against Central last week with a narrow loss, so for the boys, so that was great. And then the wrestling teams continue to have a lot of dual and tournament wins, so a lot of great things going on there. In Mindy's department, Ms. Southern, a lot of great work with the website conversion. Her and Corey continue to take the lead on that to make sure we have a more friendly platform in place, user-friendly platform in place later in the spring or to launch at the start of next year. And then, as Dr. Kraus mentioned, Corey is working diligently with the Technology Planning Committee to get to technology plan in place that will guide our work in that area for the future years. So we'll be having our first meeting coming up next month. And then finally, just last thing to report, with Safe and Healthy Schools Connection, the free and reduced lunch count numbers. We had that final push, and we are approaching similar numbers to what we've had in the past. So reaching families with that support as well. So I think those are the main things I was going to highlight on, unless there are any questions.
Very comprehensive report. Thank you. Very nice. Very good. Okay, any other questions for the board? Anyone? Okay, if not, then we will call for a motion to adjourn to our closed session.
Make a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss personnel pursuant to 610.021, paragraphs 1, 3, 13, and 14.
Roll call vote, please. Oh, I'm sorry, second.